Hello and welcome back to the Soul Care Intuitive podcast. This is part two of my interview with Dominique Wright. She is the author of Her Side of the Story, a psychically channeled novel of Catherine de Medici. All of that information will be down below. And she's been on here so many times, and you all love her stories. In part one, we talked about her past life and all of the connections that she has found in this current life. And we talked about her husband and how they met. And in this part two, we're going to be talking about a soulmate connection and how finding your soulmate is not always an easy and free-flowing task, but it is a beautiful task of healing and coming together. Dominique, thank you for being here again for part two and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I love when you're on the show. So we want to talk about the soulmate connection. And in part one, you were talking to us about how you met your husband and the feelings that you had and the things that went on with your husband that brought connections to you of your past life. But we want to talk about like that soulmate connection. If you could just share that story with us a little bit.
Yeah. So when we think of the word soulmates, we think like Disney, right? Like what
Yeah.
we see on Disney, like, and they lived happily ever after, right? And and also, we see on social media things that like people are like, oh, my relationship is so perfect. We never fight. We never
Yeah.
like, everything we wake up every morning and everything is just so perfect.
And the birds are chirping and singing. Yeah.
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 Yeah. But really, like, we know what happens behind closed doors, people. So,
Exactly.
like, but like, so the reality of soulmates is you have shared a life with somebody in the past,
And your soul
right?
recognizes that. Yes.
Yeah, and your soul recognizes that. And sometimes they can be romantic. Sometimes there could be somebody that you were with in a past life that you were in a relationship that maybe wasn't so good, and now you're in that lifetime now again to continue
Yes.
that, to have some type of healing.
Yes.
Um, I actually, this is from my previous marriage. I was actually married to him in another lifetime. Um, and it was not good. It wasn't a good relationship, but he was a soulmate.
Right.
Um, and um, what was brought into the lifetime in this lifetime was from that other past. Um, the healing that could have occurred because of where he was at and where I was at. Like
Right.
there was a choice of where the relationship ended up being, and um, the universe had given me a chance to redeem my soul from what had happened in
Yeah.
that lifetime before. And then also, once I cut that, um, when I went ahead and broke that contract with my ex-husband, then it allowed the new contract that I had with my current husband to start coming in.
Hmm. But
And
you had
the
to break that contract in this current lifetime in order for that past unhealed parts of you to be healed. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying? Okay.
yes. And so once I broke, but there were, when it's interesting. So the contract that I had with my ex-husband was to actually help me grow. And there was growth on his part as well. Um, and, but I truly believe in my heart that it had to end.
Right.
Like
Okay.
it felt like it was done. Um, there was no sadness. There was only joy. I know that I'm laughing about it, but like,
Because
um,
I mean, because you can understand it on an energetic level.
absolutely, like a spiritual, energetic level,
Yeah.
like it was necessary for my soul and for his soul,
Yes.
and the growth and evolution of both parties. And so, and and also it released us both to move forward because it could only have gone so far and then that was it. Um, and so now I'm in the contract with my current husband, and our relationship from the past um, was good. And so that part is brought into this,
Current lifetime.
yes. And so, but um, but then when we talk about um, soulmates, we think like it's just going to be bliss, but
Right.
what
And
we
you're
we
saying
never,
your ex-husband is also a soulmate and that relationship wasn't bliss. So
no,
soulmates come in all different categories.
right, right. It depends on how you had those lifetimes before.
Yes.
Um, you may feel a connection with that person, but whatever is from whatever happened in the past can be brought into the present.
Mhm.
And so sometimes people are like, I don't understand. It was so great in the beginning, and then it just turned into this poo poo hit the fan type of thing,
Yep. Yep.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so, but that actually tends to happen even if the relationship is good, um, because we have our past from our current lives and also ancestral things. You
Yes.
know,
Lots going on.
we have our individual issues that
Hmm.
we have to deal with for healing and the things that we need to address for ourselves as individuals. And it's our responsibility to do that and not depend on our partners
Correct.
to to make us happy. We have to make ourselves happy.
Absolutely.
Like,
So you're
you know,
saying in the beginning it's all bliss and joy, but there reaches a point where you both have to work on healing yourselves in order to come together in bliss. Am
yes.
I understanding that? Okay.
Yeah. And like in order to be happy, we have to make ourselves happy. So,
Yep.
you know, your partner's happy, you're happy, and then together you live a life that is happy instead
Right.
of you need to make me happy, you need to make me happy, and then like there's no coming together because it's like
Correct.
I'm depending on you and you're depending on me to do these things, but that's just control. You
Yes.
know, you're just trying to tell somebody else what to do when that's we can't do that. Like that doesn't make any sense. Somehow the interlocking of um the energetic entwining of a marriage or a relationship should work. It's like
Right.
we have to mind ourselves and as individuals, and so does the partner, and then that's how the beautiful energetic like braids weave into a relationship. Um,
Yes.
so
So I do
so
want to
yeah,
get into your story, soulmate story with your husband that you're with now.
yeah,
But you said that your ex-husband is also a soulmate, but that you had unfinished business or unfinished contract in the past life. And so you had to come together in this current life to solve and complete that part of your story with your ex-husband. Is that correct?
yes, I believe that's what had happened.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
and so there was it was a very dark lifetime in the previous lifetime. Like it was not good for me
Mm-hmm.
in any type of way or for him either. And so in this lifetime, there were a lot of similarities that had happened. Um, but the universe had made it to where I was able to empower myself.
Right.
Um, and that was where the healing was because in the past lifetime, I was disempowered to a point to where it was not good,
Right.
you
Yeah, I can
know,
understand that.
and um and so with that being brought into this lifetime, you know, the I did have a choice,
Hmm.
because that's what we have. We have those choices of, you can either stay or you can continue that lifetime, or you can continue on with something that's bigger and better. And so it had gotten to a point to where um, I felt like there was nowhere else I could go or do, and I
Hmm.
felt stuck constantly.
With your
And
ex-husband, yes.
yeah, and then that's actually when I got my very first Reiki healing. And as
Okay.
soon as I got that Reiki healing, like I walked out of there and I was not afraid.
Hmm.
I felt empowered. I was excited
Okay.
and I felt free. And I was like, I'm fucking leaving him. Like,
Yes. Oh, good.
and,
Yes, I love it.
and so like there was this energetic block that she just took away, and it allowed me to step into my power.
Hmm.
And that started the process of actually where I am now. And like, it's such a beautiful thing what energy healing can do for people.
It is. I wish
Um,
more people would engage in it, would learn about it. And like all the soul connections, the soulmates, all the connections that you're talking about as an energy healer and somebody that can see and feel energy. I completely understand what you're saying. I wish more
yeah,
people would dive into that. Okay, so you had your Reiki attunement, your Reiki session, and it
yeah.
gave you the power you needed. It cleared some kind of energetic block inside of you. I want to talk about your current husband because you've said before that just because they're a soulmate doesn't mean it's immediately all bliss. So if you want to go into
Right.
that story a little bit.
Yeah. So, usually what happens with soulmates, it's like, like a big bang, and you're like
Hmm.
almost drawn back, and you're like, oh my God, like this is the most wonderful thing ever. This is just bliss. Like, and and so, but as sometimes as time goes on, um, and the fairy dust starts to settle. Oh, your
Yes.
puppy's cute.
Yeah, she wants on
Um,
my lap.
um, you know, the I I think the ancestral patterns
Hmm.
and the way that we're brought up, like those habits start to, you know, come out.
Yeah.
And um even without us, and usually this is what happens too, is when we don't have mindfulness, when we don't have um self-awareness of our actions,
Hmm.
um those things can sometimes be a shocker.
Yeah.
And when we're first in a relationship, we, without even knowing, we hide those things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And once, the honeymoon phase is what they call it,
Yeah.
it starts to settle, and then people get more relaxed, and then those things start to unfold.
Yep. Things start to come to the
Um,
surface.
yeah, but those things are not bad, actually, because once we're aware of them, it gives us a chance to change them,
Agreed.
because those are the things that need to be healed. Those are the things that, our actions have to, that's why we're here with our partners. Um, we're here to
Absolutely.
support each other and grow.
Hmm.
Um, and And instead of hiding it, and when it comes out, you have to remind your partner it's okay. Like, I support you if, you know, it's okay with mistakes happen, or, it helps to open somebody's, throat
Yeah.
in
Throat
speaking their
chakra, heart
needs.
chakra. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it helps blossom our heart chakras, and
Absolutely.
in having understanding and loving and compassion, um, if that's what the healing that needs to occur in a relationship. Um, and so, And patience too. Like, let's not forget that big
Patience.
one.
That, yep, exactly.
um, but that I'm that always comes in a relationship.
Yes, I
Like
agree.
all the things that we learned from growing up. And in when we pick a partner, those partners, even though it sounds really strange, those partners are meant to trigger us. They're meant
Yes,
to
I agree.
they're meant to bring out those feelings so that we raise awareness to what we need to change inside as
Absolutely.
individuals. But the thing that also we have to understand is that our partners, when we are in a relationship with them, it's not the battle of who wins. It's the
Correct.
battle of we have an issue and let's work together to solve this problem as a team.
I agree.
And and so but that's sometimes that's hard to see, especially when we allow our ego to take over, you know?
Yep. And there's a lot of societal programming that
Yeah,
wants you to win, 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 get, get,
yeah,
get. So
yeah,
I totally understand that.
yeah. And so usually like if people are open in a relationship with each other and they communicate and they have that understanding, it's not so much as something's wrong, it's just you have the bliss and then sometimes things get a little like
Hmm.
brought to the surface so that healing can occur.
Yes, I totally get
And
that.
and then once you get over that part, that uncomfortable part
Hmm.
of like, sometimes people don't like confrontation. Sometimes people don't like, you know, they want to win or they want to control their
Hmm.
partner or they think
Yes.
that this is, if you don't do this, I'm going to be unhappy. If you know what I mean? Like it gets to that
Yep.
point, but
Yep.
there's there's a beautiful, gentle way that people can speak to each other so that they can join forces as a team to solve whatever it is that they need to continue to. It always looks like a braid to me. Like when people
Yep.
are married, like there's a beautiful rope that
Hmm.
gets braided with like the choices that they make for the partner. Um and sometimes that braid is gold and sometimes that braid is red.
Yep. It just depends on the relationship.
Right. And so but anyway, yeah, so it's interesting. It's an interesting thing, like how our soulmate process is and the people
Yeah.
that we choose for our partners. And it's for the purpose of soul evolution and healing for both parties at no matter what stage
Yes.
they are in their evolution. So
Do you think that you needed to have your first husband to solve that contract before you could be fully committed and with your current husband?
um
Do you think that soul contract with that soulmate had to be completed first, or lessons that needed to be learned?
so I mean, yes, that was the choice that I made at the time. But I know that there's like 30 other people that are, you know, my soulmates.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I would have made the choice to not be with my ex-husband,
Mm-hmm.
then somebody else, another soulmate would have come into my life and there would have been another situation to
Okay.
where healing needed to occur to bring me to where I'm at now.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
I I think no matter who it was that I was going to choose, it would have brought me to where I am now. Like
Right.
there's never I don't believe in a wrong life choice. I just
Mm-hmm.
believe that there is a choice and those choices bring you to where you're at in the moment.
Yes, I agree. I
Um,
like that. I agree.
and so um So I think that's why I never feel regret for
Of course not.
what happened in the past because I know regardless of whoever it was that I chose, I would have gone through the same pain,
The same
you
pain, the same
know, the
outcomes.
same, yeah,
Yeah,
yes, regardless, because I needed to get to where I'm at now. And
right.
all of that happened was necessary for my soul's growth.
Yes.
So
Soulmates is such an interesting topic. I know there's so many people with so many opinions about it, but I
yeah.
absolutely love your perspective and I absolutely agree with what you've shared. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we end this episode about soulmates, about your book, about your current husband, your ex-husband? Any last words?
Uh, hmm. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to ask me?
Sure. I would just say that, there's so many people that search for their soulmate and they have to find their soulmate. They're afraid their soulmate's going to pass them by. I think like with your beautiful examples, it will not pass you by. And like you said, there's many levels and many different soulmates. And regardless of which one you chose to come in with and have an experience with in this lifetime, you're going to learn and grow from that soulmate, from that relationship. So I think like the best advice I would give is don't worry so much about searching for your soulmate. Your soul knows what to do and how to get there. And just stop worrying about it so much. Live your life, heal. Be the person you're with, heal your life. Be
Yeah,
happy.
yeah, I like that. Something that popped up while you were talking was this. So I would say my advice to people is don't worry so much about the label of a soulmate
Absolutely.
because really truly ask yourself if what you're looking for is just connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
we can create that connection with people who aren't our soulmate. You know, for all you know, you could be out there and you could meet somebody and you could have that connection with them, and they don't necessarily have to
Like fit into the
be
box.
somebody. Yeah, and there's so many beautiful souls out there
Yes.
that are looking for another beautiful soul. And if someone, just say for example, they're in a good relationship with another person and they go and they see a psychic and they say, did I have a past life with this person? Is this person my soulmate? And they say no, don't base your relationship connection, like how you're going to pursue your relationship based off of that,
I
because
agree.
you can always build something beautiful from the ground up. And
Absolutely.
quite honestly, like what a soulmate is you're basically like bringing and healing something from the past,
Yep. Within
you
yourself
know.
and within them. I agree.
Yeah, and so if you have a new relationship, then you're starting new. You're
Yeah.
starting fresh.
Yep.
And that can be a beautiful thing just as
Absolutely.
much as you know, um as from something from the past.
I agree.
And so like don't ever base it. Like always have an open mind when you're meeting people and
Yes.
follow your instincts.
And don't
If
worry
you
about the labels. We love to label
Yes,
stuff in our society. Don't worry about that.
yes. Like for all you know, the love of your life, you could be starting to create that soulmate
Hmm.
process because everybody started from ground zero at one
At
point.
one point. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so like don't base it off of, you know, of that.
Yep,
Like
I agree.
you can make whatever you want because these are your choices,
Hmm.
and you know, you can go with it or not
Yep.
and just follow your heart, and oh, you can always make the best of it. Like no matter what. So,
I completely agree. And that is such a
So yeah.
wonderful way to end this episode. Thank you, as always, for being here. I love absolutely having you on the podcast.
Well, thank
If
you.
you guys have any questions for me or Dominique, leave them down below in the comments. I will put all of her information in the description. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.